Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first proper episode of Major Talks, which is my kind of podcast, I guess. Or I guess first it was starting out as a podcast, but then I very quickly got bored of even the idea of sitting here and talking for an hour. So now I guess it's just a kind of a short podcast. So I haven't worked out everything exactly the way I want it yet, because I haven't done much of this yet. So I guess I'll work out the preferences. Quick disclaimer here: my dog is very much awake in the background, trying to play. So that might be a little loud in the background. Might be able to hear that, but you're gonna have to excuse me. So I actually haven't uploaded in like a fucking month or two, something. I don't know. I was very busy trying to rebuild my life, trying to do more creative things, I guess. And I was busy solving problems and getting tattooed. Actually, I got my first tattoo. Congratulations to me, I guess. I mean, technically, it's the first part of a bigger piece, a sleeve. Yes, a tattoo sleeve. It's essentially a space-themed sleeve, is what it's going to be. So I like to tell you about my experience and the story of that. Because throughout my life, I didn't really wanted to get tattoos. It's been a thing for me for only a couple of months, actually. Like, I don't know, past 2-3 months maybe, if I recall correctly. The way I actually got into tattoos is I follow this guy, my favorite musician, my favorite artist in that industry, Ryan Oakes. And I don't know when exactly, but he posted photos of a tattoo cover up that he had, and that gave me a pretty good idea of what I might want, because I don't know, it just clicked to me, like, yes, I want tattoos. And it was planet space kind of theme, and so I was like, yes, I want a space themed fucking sleeve. I guess I didn't want anything small that meant so much to me, because it's like, things that matter to you right now, or just mean something very important, might fade in 10-15 years. You will even forget what they mean, or just the meaning of them might change, or I don't know. I didn't want to get something crazy small with insane meaning and fucking pages of meaning. Basically, I just wanted some cool piece of art. I like art. I like creative things, and yeah, I just wanted some cool art under my skin. So a little while after I actually realized that I wanted tattoos, I was on a dog walk with my mom, and we're just talking, and I mentioned that, like, hey mom, I want a tattoo. She was like, okay, cool. What would you want? And I told her that, like, I got this idea from this person for a space themed sleeve. I don't know how would I start it. Whatever, yada yada yada. And that's basically how the whole story started. Because a couple months after, maybe 1 or 2 months after, she just comes into my room and she's like, so you still want that tattoo you were talking about? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. And she tells me like, hey, you remember this person? You've met him, and he actually does tattoos now, and he's been tattooing for a while, and you might want to get in contact with him. So I text the guy, the tattoo artist, and we work out a time and place, which is basically his house. It was a pretty cool experience, but we'll get to that in a second. So we work out an appointment, basically, like, okay, Friday 11 a.m. bet, see ya. And 3 days later, he texts me like the plans for the entire sleeve, because he was like, okay, cool, you want a wolf, okay, and then later you want a Space Team sleeve. You know what? I'll do the entire fucking thing for you. I'm like, okay, cool. I guess we're going big. I mean, go big or go home, I guess. Yeah, and then he sends me the plans for what it would look like, and I was like, cool, okay, well, let's get tatted, I guess. And the day comes around, Friday. I wake up. I'm very excited. I'm super excited, actually. We go there. We go to the guy's house, and I go in his room, sit down, and we talk a little bit while he does the stencil for the tattoo. We talk about life, quarantine, and the dumb shit that we see around while quarantine, because quarantine's been making people go batshit crazy, So while I'm sitting there and just waiting for him to do the stencil, I'm getting a little nervous, but it's more like excited, because I'm about to get a piece of art under my skin for the rest of my life, however long that will be, but it's gonna be there forever, most likely. And he puts on the stencil, I sit down, and he just gets right to work. And for people that don't have tattoos, probably most of you watching this video, it feels exactly how you would imagine needles scraping against your skin. It's however you're imagining it. It feels exactly like that. It's not necessarily painful, but it's really uncomfortable. I'm gonna say that much. There are actually several factors that make it more or less painful. It's quite interesting, actually, but from experience, which is not much so far, but I found four main factors that make the tattooing more painful. So the first thing is the amount of needles at the end of the gun. It's basically the more needles, the less it hurts. I don't know why. I can't put the science behind that, but that's just what I found true. Also, there's the machine, which has like numbers on it. And the lower the number, the less it hurts. I'm assuming that's speed at which the nails are moving. It's interesting, but also I don't actually know what those numbers mean. I'm assuming it's speed, as I say, but I'm not 100% sure. But however that might be, or whatever that may be, the lower the number on the machine, the less it hurts, basically. So the third thing is actually The third thing, actually, I forgot. So I'm just gonna start with the last thing that I thought of, is how much your skin's already fucked in that area. Because if it's red and swollen, and yeah, it's going to be quite painful, you know. If it's already fucked, then it's gonna be really, really painful. Oh yeah. The last thing is, the further away from a joint, the less it hurts. So at the wrist area, it's gonna hurt like a motherfucker. Towards more of the elbow, it's going to hurt more than like in the middle of the forearm. So you should actually see a picture of my tattoo on the screen as we are talking, probably. So if you see the nose of the wolf, basically, that hurt the least. Even though it's basically fucking black completely, that hurt the least. Because it's on the middle of my forearm. And because it had to be filled out completely black, there were more needles, which means it hurt less. Yeah, the most it hurt, that was crazy pain. Honestly, the first thing that I'm gonna say is basically you know how they wipe off the ink from your skin as you're getting tatted. That hurts more than the needles, actually, because it's not just small things for a small amount of time. It's a big fucking thing for couple seconds while he, wipes off the ink from your skin. That hurts like a motherfucker. That is not a pleasant feeling. Not at all. As I say, it hurts more than the needles, actually. But the needles, the most the needles hurt when, to me, it was when he was doing detail with whites. Because, he did the entire thing first with black, the main color, and then he was doing detail with whites. And by that time, as I say, the whole thing was already done. It was just details. My skin was swollen. It was red as fuck. Anything touched it, I was just screaming. And so that's one factor that is already fucked, and it, one out of the 4 factors which makes it more painful. Needle wise, it was a single needle head for the details, obviously. Very precise, single needle, painful. And it was at a very high speed, or the number on the machine was high. Again, I'm just assuming that that's speed. So yeah. And he had to do detail at the wrist, mostly at the lower part of the tattoo, and that is about as painful as it gets. Close to the joint, single needle, already red and swollen, and high number on the machine, high speed. Again, I'm just assuming that's what that number means, because what else would it mean? So yeah, towards the last 30 minutes wasn't the pleasant experience. Fuck, hold on. Apparently I'm an important person now. So important that I've been getting phone calls basically all day. So back to the topic. So the entire process of getting the tattoo was about 6 hours. The actual tatting was about 5. So yeah, it was about 5 hours, because that 1 hour was basically just taking breaks and grabbing some food downstairs. I guess that's the very, very much of a big advantage of knowing the entire family of the tattoo artist that you are going to. As I say, it was at his house. His family was there, and they were cooking some lunch, and it was fucking great, you know? Getting tatted, eating some great food. Like, what else would you need? What else would you need in your fucking life? Also, there was a dog, so there's nothing, nothing else that I would have wanted. Yeah, so after I got the tattoo, you know, we talk a little bit, we wait until the redness disappears a little bit, so he can take a photo of it. That's the photo you're going to see in the video. I'm gonna show that photo as much as possible because I want to show off my tattoo. I've been shoving it into people's faces in phone calls on fucking Twitter. I'm gonna do it here too. Don't worry. It's inevitable. Okay, you have a tattoo, you wanna show it. So after I walked out of the house to the car, basically for a millisecond, just for a fucking millisecond, the sunlight basically just licked my tattoo, okay? Like just licked it for a millisecond. And I was almost screaming in pain. So if you're looking to get a tattoo, don't plan a vacation after, okay? It's not gonna be a pleasant thing to do, just in general. So things that you shouldn't do with a new tattoo is you shouldn't, yeah, basically anything. No water, no sunlight, no dust, no dirt, no nothing. Okay, any bacteria gets into that. It's basically an open wound. If you don't know how it works, those needles just make hundreds of tiny holes into your skin to get the ink pigment absorbed. It's not ink itself, it's just ink pigment basically that gets absorbed into your, I believe is the second main layer of your skin out of the three. I'm getting too scientific here. I'm not a geek, okay? I just want to know about the things that I have, or the things that I like generally. So yeah, basically just the first 1 week at least, it can get infected. It can get infected for like 3 to 4 weeks, for more like 3 to 4 weeks. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks for the tattoo to heal, but the lower layers may take as long as 3 months to heal perfectly. But it after the, let's say, like the first 2-3 weeks, you're good. It's not gonna be infected most likely. I was very much cautious with the tattoo in the first week, mostly. Anything would touch it, I would just go fucking wash it, put on aftercare cream and wrap it. And yeah, it wasn't exactly comfortable because it was painful still. Till this day, actually, for the night, I still wrap it with plastic wrap because it's still really painful if it's like getting rubbed up against something, especially overnight in bed. You know, you don't want to be uncomfortable. You just want to fucking sleep. You just want to have a good night. So yeah, anyone that's looking to get tatted, you know, just don't be a dumbass. Respect your artist. Just respect the piece of art he put on you. Respect yourself, because if it gets infected, it's gonna be disgusting and really painful, and you might get a fever and you might not be able to get out of bed for multiple days. And you don't want that. I don't think I have to say that. So that's really my first tattooing experience. I think right after filming this, actually, or right after recording this, actually, I'm gonna text the artist. I'm like, hello, I want to continue with the sleeve, you know, because I actually got used to this tattoo in 3 days, like pretty quick. I never thought about the fact that I get used to it so fast. I thought it would be like it would take me multiple weeks, and it would just feel weird that I have something under my skin, but it just feels natural now. Like, I can't remember the time when it wasn't there, you know? Yeah, and now it just basically feels out of place, because it's a smaller part of a big piece. So I just want to continue with it, and now it feels out of place, basically. So thank you all for watching or listening in the background, whatever. There's some visual content that I pointed out, so hopefully you tapped back into your browser and have seen my tattoo. If you haven't, there's another picture here for you. Beautiful, love it. So thank you guys for hanging out here. If you like this, please drop a like, tell your opinion in the comment section. I'm really interested to hear anything about tattoos or basically anything that I talked about here, you know. If you don't like the video, drop a dislike. It's a free world. Do whatever you want, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.